Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to your weekly general tarot scope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these are the general energies, trends, and themes that we're all likely to be experiencing over the course of the week. Sometimes it's world events, sometimes it's like a personal sermon. Who knows, right? We never really know what we're getting from the weekly general, but these actually came about because of my community. So if you are new to Radiant Reality, if you're a new member of the Radiant Nation, thank you so much for being here. If you are a seasoned vet at all of this good stuff, you know that these came about because of you. So when I was doing the weekly readings, we kept noticing that there were patterns and trends and themes that were showing up. And so one day I said to the community, you guys, you wonderful people, do you want a key to the week video? And this was kind of that was the start really of the weekly general way back when in 2019. So I've been doing these since then, and you guys seem to love them. So thank you so much for that. So all of this obviously is informed by my intuitive message. So every week I will go into my intuition and I will ask for a message, and sometimes this is a thought, an impression, sometimes it's like a mini movie that plays out in my head, and I translate that into a phrase or into like an intuitive message that kind of adds to the weekly general video. So before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise. They help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. Ooh, sorry, that went right through me. Okay, so this week your weekly intuitive message is the universal window opens. Now, I wonder if this is because this has something to do with the eclipse, because obviously this week we know we've got that big powerhouse eclipse that is taking place right out of the gate. And so I wonder if this is about that. But what I saw was there were a lot of clouds in the sky and they kind of parted, and there was like a beam of light that shone down, you know, like one of those really beautiful pictures that you see. And so what I wonder from this is if this has something to do with the eclipse. I feel like it is, right? Because that is effectively the opening up of a cosmic portal of sorts. So we've got one eclipse this week, we'll have another one 2 weeks from now. And so obviously this is the start of that eclipse window opening, but it feels bigger than that. It feels like this is like a universal window in some regard is now open. And remember, at this time, we don't necessarily do anything to do with manifesting. We don't manifest on an eclipse because the energy is too volatile. And when you think about what an eclipse is, you lose the light for a period of time, which means you're not really sure what it is that you're going to get. So there is an element with an eclipse energy where you kind of let it play out and you let it show you what it's going to bring into your world, as opposed to, to using it to manifest something or to call for something specific. So, you know, take that as you will. Right now, for the Destiny energy, we have the gate 24 and returning. And the message about this card, so you see the butterflies on the picture. The message behind this card, it says returning, right? So it is definitely a harking back to or a thinking back to, which is really interesting because if you've been with me long enough, you know I say. So in the astrological community, a lot of people say that, you know, you have the new moon and then 2 weeks later when you have the full moon, like that's when you see the results. I personally don't adhere to that. I haven't noticed that it holds true for myself or for my clients. However, what I have noticed is that the corresponding full moon to a previous new moon tends to be the cycle, and that's around a 6-month period. So at this point, I want you to think back to the new moon solar eclipse that happened in the sign of Libra in October of 2023. At that point, we were setting something into motion. This full moon lunar eclipse that happens this week is in the sign of Libra. So this is the corresponding full moon, even though it's an eclipse, it's a corresponding full moon to the new moon that happened in October of 2023. So this is where you're going to see the results. Whatever was set into motion by that eclipse for you, here is where you're going to see what that really looks like on the ground in your day-to-day level. Remember, a full moon is a massive point of illumination. If you haven't seen it, please don't forget to check out that wonderful video that I did with a wonderful colleague and former student of mine, Latao Wang, who is just brilliant at what he does. Right now, that being said, the Gate 24 and returning card, it is about something coming back into our world. It's about something returning to our lives. And interestingly enough, because this full moon lunar eclipse is the corresponding to the new moon that happened in October of last year, we are now getting to see what was set into motion in our lives. So very, very interesting stuff. When it comes to your direction cards, right? So what shows up for us here, we have the High Priestess. So something hidden will be revealed at this time, which makes sense, right? Because a full moon is an illumination point. We've got the emissary of the High Priestess himself, the Hermit, right? So that's beautiful. And the Six of Swords. So one of the ways that this could potentially move us forward, this week you might realize very quickly that there is a journey that you need to take. Now, usually with the Hermit card, this can be like a metaphorical journey, an inward journey, a mushroom journey, an ayahuasca journey, the Hermit's walk, as we call it, right? However, you've got this with the Six of Swords. That is a literal journey from one place to another, usually a long distance one, usually some kind of long distance travel. Very often with the Six of Swords, it's an overseas travel. For some of you, this might be a journey that you have to take in private or in secret, and it may be because of whatever is revealed to you as a result of that eclipse that takes place on Monday. So really, really powerful stuff here. The other thing with the Hermit card, remember this is a withdrawal from the world, and sometimes it's about going back to basics. Because you have this with the Six of Swords, this might be that you are taking a journey to take some time out. Maybe you're pulling away from someone or something in order to give yourself space to think. Now, as a direction energy, this does suggest that the best direction that we can take moving forward is one of waiting, patience and stillness, and also removal of whatever is superfluous. This is a time where it really is about stripping back all of the noise and getting to the root understanding, message or meaning of what it is that you are experiencing right now. And the only way really that you're going to do that, according to these cards, is by take it, you know, like when they say sometimes less is more. This is one of those energies. On the wider world stage, this is going to be a revelation. How to say this without getting into hot water with the platform. The illegal movements of people from one place to another may have a break at some point here. Right, that's where I'm stopping. That card seems to want out and the cards seem to agree. Right, what's really interesting about this is, and I'm going to get into this in just a moment, right? The High Priestess is a universal significator of women, and the Hermit card is things, you know, and the High Priestess is also hidden things that are revealed. The Hermit card would be something, you know, coupled with the Hermit card, this is something that happens behind closed doors, and the Six of Swords is a journey, right? Libra as a sign is it's a very feminine energy, right? Even though it's a masculine sign, it's Venus's masculine guise. It is very female orientated. And so this really speaks to me about that. I think there are going to be developments in that. I think there's also going to be some kind of revelation around or with women's rights, particularly older women, and how they may or may not be treated. And I do wonder as well if there's going to be some kind of conversation this week or development around older women having children, and this idea of being able to either stretch out the biological clock window, or you know, there's going to be some kind of research or insight that comes forward around that. So it'll be interesting to see how it does play out. Also, for those people that are likely to come forward this week about experiences that they've had, you know, about whether they have been ST'd or, you know, hijacked and trafficked, etc. That Six of Wands really does suggest that actually there will be a victory of sorts for people that have been victims of such things. So I'm intrigued by this for sure. So the insight cards, how do we best utilize these energies? We've got the Six of Wands, we've got the Seven of Pentacles, and you've got the Four of Pentacles, right? So the first things that I want to say to you is, on a personal note, one of the best ways to move forward that you really need to be aware of here is whatever you're going to get a vindication this week, right? In some way, shape, or form, you will likely have something will come forward where you will think, wow, I waited a long time to hear that apology or to get the recognition or whatever the case might be. Don't seek more than what is available at this time, and you will have more than you are currently being offered, right? That's a really convoluted way of saying don't embellish, all right? Like if you get your moment to speak, stick to the facts, because the facts are going to have that much more weight. When it comes to things that you've invested in financially, or, you know, money that you've got or savings that you put aside for a specific reason, they are going to come into effect this week, right? The universe is going to take what you have built, take what you have saved, take what you have carefully sort of put together for yourself, and it's going to bring you a blessing as a result, right? So you don't need to add to it. You don't need to, you know, ask for whistles and bells or demand. You just need to show up, all right? These are really great cards. And one of the things that I will say with this combination, one of the best insights that I can give you is to bide your time. All right, whatever that might mean to you in any situation that you've got going on at this moment in time. On the wider world stage, a payout just ain't gonna fucking cut it. All right. I talked about recently the atrocities that happened in Canada when all of that stuff came out about the orphanages and etc. A payout should be a given, right? But trust me, it don't cut it, right? And we're going to see that on the wider world stage. Wherever someone tries to buy someone off or hush money them, it's not going to cut it. So I'm intrigued to see how all of this will play out on the wider world stage, because ultimately Libra really is the sign of justice. So I'm just going to mic drop on that. With that said, I wish you all an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.